Welcome to the Filmistines, the podcast where we discuss all things movies. Join us as we dive deep into the latest releases, revisit classic films, and explore the art of cinema. Whether you're a film fanatic or just love a good flick, we've got you covered. From Hollywood blockbusters to indie gems, we'll be breaking down the storytelling, cinematography, and everything in between. So grab some popcorn, sit back, and get ready for some cinematic magic. If you like what you hear, please consider subscribing to our Patreon at patreon.com/filmistines. We offer tiers at the $1, $5, and $20 level, where the $5 tier grants the ability to request films for future episodes. This is the Filmistines, where movies are more than just entertainment, they're an experience.
They're an experience
all around you. And welcome back to another episode of the Filmistines. You can join us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for brand new episodes covering films such as Sunshine, Her, No Hard Feelings, Elemental, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, and other popular episodes like Beau's Afraid, getting our ultimate Pixar ranking, Barbie, Decision to Leave, Oppenheimer, all the goods here at the Filmistines. I am joined today by my supernatural friend, Lucy. How are you, my friend?
Hello, everyone. I'm doing great today.
Good to hear. We have a
special episode today.
Ooh. A spooky special episode
Ooh.
For a spooky occasion.
The Blue Moon?
Well, today we are covering one of our favorite directors, sort of. We like his movies, but they're not great movies, but they scratch something super specific in our minds. That's James Wan, of course, and we're covering today James Wan's Insidious Chapter 2. Why is it called Chapter 2? Because it's the second part, of course. But why is Chapter 3 called Chapter 3? We didn't watch it, of course. Or you haven't seen it, right?
No.
Insidious Chapter 3. It's unrelated, really, to like Josh's story. You'd expect it to be a little more integral to Josh, right? If it was called Chapter 3. But they pull a surprise on you and pretend that Elise was the main character all along. So, I don't know if we'll cover that film, because it's too bad. But today is all about Insidious Chapter 2. And I am pleasantly surprised to still enjoy this film years later, because it's the first true start of a franchise, right? It's the sequel. It's the first of the decline normally, right? That's how sequels tend to go, especially in the horror genre.
Yes. Typically, the sequel
is not nearly as good.
But
I think this movie is not as good still. Okay. But I still think it's pretty good. I'm actually really surprised, because one thing that I love about this movie, I'll just say right off the top, is I love a demon who has demons. I just love it. I've never seen it in my life, and they kind of really run with that in this, and I think that's super neat. How did you feel about this film? Was this your first time seeing this? I cannot remember.
Yes, this is my first time seeing this. I think if you're going to call yourself a horror film, you need to horrify. You need to scare. You need to, frighten me. I need to be afraid to go walk outside the door. I need to, see shadowy figures at night. Or even give me some kind of, psychological scare. Otherwise, just call yourself I don't know.
A thriller?
A thriller. a demon thriller. I don't know. But
yeah. Parker Crane, not nearly as scary as all the setup we have in the first film.
Hell no.
There
were a few jump scares. I think the first one that really got me was when I think she's in the house by herself, and
oh yeah,
things started moving around, creeping around, and then the what is she called? The demon names confuse me here a bit, but it's the mom.
Parker Crane's mom?
Yeah, Parker Crane's mom. Does she have a name?
I don't know, actually.
Oh, okay. Well, Parker Crane's mom. Yeah, that's her. When she pops up the first time we see her, and I don't remember how the mom. What's her name? Goddamn, I should read more.
Renee.
Yeah, I don't know how Renee winds up on the floor, passed out, and then Josh comes home and sets her on the couch.
She gets pushed by
Okay, yeah, that was the first like jump scare, and then maybe I had another one, and that's about it.
Yeah, this movie I guess it depends on how you kind of look at it, but it definitely ran with the lore of Insidious more than we're gonna scare the britches off you again. Because that's hard to do. It's a funny thing. Because I don't jump at any point with really any film, but Insidious still, like, it scratches what would scare me if I did get scared, and I love it. And this movie doesn't do that, of course. Yeah, I totally agree. But it just it takes what I hate about the first film in a way and makes it better, because it introduces this like time travel element too, which is weird.
It's weird, and
it's weird.
I don't know, not fitting. It's just too weird. I'm here to be scared. I don't know.
Yeah.
You made such an awesome first movie that scared the bejesus out of me. I mean, I still can't look at our thumbnail for Insidious because it gives me the creeps. And I still see that red demon dude in my car. So I have such high expectations for what you can do in this series. So I don't know, maybe my expectations were too high with the first one, that the second one was just an immediate... I mean, I fell asleep. When I probably shouldn't have, because that seems like when the story actually started kicking here, but I did.
Dang, you fell asleep.
I fell asleep.
Oh my god.
Sorry, James.
Well, if the Parker Crane character didn't have its hooks in you, there probably wasn't an awful lot here. So, I mean, I guess to be fair, it's just, that's part of the experience for you, though. I hate to hear that.
Yeah, I just thought the premise was just too weird for me. And it seems like the Red Door, is that the last one?
Yeah.
One we previously covered?
The sequel to this one, basically.
Yes.
Because it picks up right at the end, which is cool. I like that. But
it seems like that one is, of course, it's worse than this, but it kind of takes more of these elements than even the first one. It's like the first one was just a standalone awesomeness of a scare and a spookiness. I don't know what other way to put it than one of the best horror movies.
Yeah, there might be something to that too, because obviously Josh is a little bit more of the main character here, because the story is his, and so maybe Patrick Wilson was like, maybe Patrick Wilson prefers this film, and so he ran with some of these elements a little more, and that's how the Red Door came to be. And so he took it's not his story. I'm not sure who wrote the Red Door. But he may have been on a little bit of a ego trip, trying to kind of push that in another like lore driven way, because that's what we got here. And it obviously, the Red Door obviously suffers quite a bit from trying to shove that down your throat, because they didn't plant any of the proper seeds here needed to, make the third film basically in this trilogy to really kind of make any sense. That could have worked. That might have been cool if they could have planted some seeds here, and they all, they sprouted out. What was that? 10 years later, roughly. 10 years later. 2013 or 2013, 2023.
Yeah.
And he says that in the film too, I think.
Oh yeah, 10 years later, I think.
Yeah, at the very beginning.
Yep.
And that could have been cool, very Twin Peaks style or something, but yeah, it's very one note, or it's very like one. There's just one specific hook that's, if it doesn't get you, you're not. I don't think you're here for this film. And it sounds like it missed you.
Yeah,
because Parker Crane is not creepy, first and foremost. It's a fun thing. We have this disturbed kind of soul suffering because of his mom and doing evil things because of his mom, killing women and stuff. and being forced to dress like a girl and everything, and I guess even going to the point of madness where he castrates himself. That's where we see him in the flashback. And just went over your head.
Yeah.
Were you sleeping at this point?
I was dozing.
You were dozing. Yeah,
wake up.
It's a hard watch for you, I guess,
it was
man.
a hard watch. It was a hard
That's all right.
watch.
That's all right. That's part of the experience, you know. Sometimes.
I mean, what you're saying, like the plot, or I guess more like the background of this demon, bad guy, whatever you want to call him here, sounds awesome. That plot, that backstory sounds great. It just didn't fit this film. It didn't fit this type of film either. I would have maybe even preferred maybe like a mockumentary of Peter, what's his name?
Parker Crane.
Parker Crane. I would have preferred a thriller mockumentary. I don't know. Maybe I'm being too harsh on the horror genre here, but this wasn't horror. Just like The Red Door wasn't horror.
No, I feel you for sure. We get a little bit. I guess I stand corrected a little bit too with the tail end of this movie was where he went through the wall and started to come after them and stuff. And that all, I guess, had been about 10 years probably since I've seen this film. Unless I watched it with you years ago, I probably wouldn't have popped this one back in because it just wasn't. It's not something you know. If you show someone the Insidious films, you show them the first one, and normally you're not watching two movies back to back, right?
That's true. That's true.
You know, just kind of random friends or random hangouts and stuff. So I had forgotten that was actually at the tail end of chapter 2. And in the Red Door, I was thinking if that didn't happen in chapter 2, that happened like a little bit after, because like Josh was actually like kind of crazy or something. That gave good reason for Renee to divorce him, but I feel like Renee is now just being, you know, she's pretty understanding. I feel like she would not be as afraid of Josh as she is at the very end of this. I mean, it makes sense in one way, but in another it doesn't. I don't know.
Wait, you're saying she was more understanding?
She seemed to be more understanding than she ended up being. Because the basement scene was like, I guess, the tipping point where she had to divorce his ass.
Yeah.
But she knows what's going on. She knows this isn't Josh.
Yes.
But I guess the trauma's just too much or something.
Hell yes, it is. I'm divorcing your ass right then and there.
Okay.
I would have already left with the kids.
Yeah, I mean, maybe.
Stay in that crazy house with you and your mom. I'm gone.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I think maybe I'm not giving her enough credit. Maybe she's, I don't know.
No, and then she, you know, he asks her, do you believe me or whatever? You know, it's me. I'm not possessed anymore. Whatever he says, it's me. And she just kind of like, you know, hesitates, thinks about it. And then she's like, of course it's you, you know, blah, blah, blah. And then they hug, whatever. I thought she played it smart, and she's not gonna contradict him right then and there after he just tried to kill everybody.
Yeah, but why? I just don't like.
You don't like that she's so understanding in the Red Door?
I guess ultimately, because I prefer this section, this bit of the storytelling in the chapter 2, at the end of chapter 2, more. Like she's playing it smart and everything, and she is afraid. You know, she's playing it smart.
Yeah,
that's fine. But I guess now with the Red Door, she just remembers all of a sudden that she loves him or something. Like she just like forgets everything. Like nothing's really fucking changed, Renee. Like he's
probably still possessed, Renee.
For all she knows, maybe. But like he didn't do anything to win her back, you know? Like I guess I like Red Door even less now. Like that's kind of where I'm leaning.
Yeah. I mean, it's been 10 years. You go through life. We don't know what's happened in their lives. Maybe to give somebody the benefit of the doubt here, which that's not me. I'm not giving nobody the benefit of the doubt, but of a doubt. But who knows? Maybe she's just tired of life and wants a husband. And this dude's here. I don't know.
Yeah, I wonder if she's been single for 10-ish
She probably
years.
has. I bet you she has.
She's probably afraid of people at this point.
Oh my god.
I guess I would too.
too.
You're surrounded by Josh, your child who was becoming possessed, Elise and Carl, and the two nerds. And the mom. It's like that happened all in a short amount of time, and you know what? I'm just gonna lay off on people for a while. Maybe I could see that.
10 years later.
Yeah, I will say I liked Renee less in the sequel in chapter 2 as well.
Yeah.
I just feel like she wasn't giving me as much. She was just kind of this catalyst to, not to say that, the first one has the best storytelling in the world or that she's giving the best performance or, the best whatever, but she brought something special in the first one with her complexion, her eyebrows, her sadness and the grayness, and I feel like we've lost some of that here too.
Yeah, even her voice, I think.
Her voice, yeah.
Something in the first one. I agree. I think, she didn't do a terrible job here, but she definitely killed it more in the first one.
Yeah, I feel like we just laid off a little bit. The direction was just not on her. I guess maybe it felt like the focus was more on the house because Josh was in the house.
Yeah.
And then obviously the other focus was on Josh, him, like the possessed Josh too. So like we just kind of backed off from everyone else when her concern in the first one was so integral to making things happen. So her character was important there. And so that kind of sucks, I guess, but it is kind of funny that what I don't like about the first film, which is pretty much everything to do with the further, like it just kind of loses me. I talked about that in the first episode. They take it pretty far here because they introduce that time travel component. And did you see the part, or were you sleeping, when they went back in time, or not really back in time, but they went back to the place where little Josh was talking to older Josh?
I was awake.
Okay. And it's fucking cool. It's fucking cool. I love that.
Yeah, I think I also woke up a little bit when they did some sort of time traveling, I guess. And they played the scene, and I don't think it was the exact scene from the first movie when they're laying in bed and he like gets up to go look around. So
cool,
that was
right?
pretty cool.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. And I don't know about the one you just said, about the one where, big Josh talks to little Josh. I thought that was a little weird because it's a blur in the video, and I'm like, yes, I have my scariness here. What is this blur? What is this blob? You zoom in, it's Josh, but like, what the fuck?
Yeah, they say no scares, lore. We're fleshing this world out, and I'm here for it to a point, but because I just like the exercise of it. I don't want this to go anywhere, and of course, we get 3 fucking more movies after this. That really don't add much to the bigger picture either, because James Wan is not involved directly, or any consequential way, I should say. But it's I like the strange approach. I do. I like the kind of genre bending kind of. I'm a big fan of when you can take an IP, an idea, make it into something, whether it's like a horror movie or something. Like kind of like what I say about like the superhero films, where I wish they would experiment a little bit more with the tone of the movie, and that we could maybe have some of the horror, the normal superhero fare and everything, but maybe every once in a while we could have a whale style, mega dramatic, hyper dramatic kind of telling of a specific character, or maybe we can have a kind of buddy cop kind of comedy. I guess we kind of have something in the vein of that with Deadpool, where it's just totally absurd and ridiculous, right? And then maybe even have like a documentary style film or something. I wish there was a little more fun with that, but so this kind of speaks to me on that level.
That's not exactly.
It's kind of a half step, but what were you gonna say? It's
not exactly genre bending, though.
That's what I'm saying. It's kind of a half step. It's not. It's giving me, because it's almost, because it's like it's almost an adventure film,
Yeah.
So but we're still like, we have a toe in horror and we have a toe in adventure, and like there's a little bit of suspense and thriller happening here, of course, and so it's really not giving me probably as much as it could have, but I do like the try just because I like that. It speaks to me. I wish we saw that more in games too. We do occasionally, but like Mario. Mario is the great example of all. We have 3D Mario and we have 2D Mario. It's fucking awesome. Why can't every franchise ever do that in games?
Yeah.
It can be as simple as something like that too, especially in games. It's a little more cut and dry, I think, but that's funny. That's funny that you fell asleep. That happens. We fell asleep recently recapping for an episode in the works. We fell asleep trying to get through some of the stuff.
I know, that was funny. We woke up and we were watching something else.
Like, we were on a different video. So what
well,
happened?
This movie sucked. And no, don't get me wrong. This movie didn't suck. It wasn't exactly boring per se. It just didn't give me what I was here for. And maybe that completely lost me.
Nope, I hear it, man.
And I was reading a review that said if he wouldn't have been trying to do 2 movies at once, maybe this one could have been better. Because apparently he was doing The Conjuring.
Yeah.
They came out the same year.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I thought it was close, but not the same year. So that's what someone said. And I'm like, yeah.
This
exactly.
was the backburner movie. Because Jason Blum was begging the two, Lee, what's her name? Lee Winnell?
The screenwriter?
Yeah, I guess I don't really know if it's a girl. Oh, it's a guy. Australian screenwriter. Lee Winnell. And James Wan, Jason Blum was kind of begging these two to come back and do a proper follow-up because Jason Blum didn't want to let anyone just do it. He wanted James Wan to come back and do it.
And he couldn't wait?
And,
well, I guess this was filmed immediately, right? After the first one?
No, I would suspect this was probably filmed after The Conjuring. So it was probably filmed quick and put out real quick.
Wait.
I can probably tell you.
This was filmed before The Conjuring? So The Conjuring started filming in late February 2012, and I guess it lasted for 38 days, so about a little bit over a month.
Insidious 2 started filming January 15th, 2013, just about 8 months before it came to theaters.
Oh.
So
I guess I just meant immediately in the sense of, Dalton and, well, especially Dalton, because he's a kid. The kids still look like themselves, even though the movie was about 3 years apart.
Yeah, I guess they didn't hit their growth spurts.
Yeah.
That's what that means.
So, I mean, there's a little bit of truth there to that comment for sure, then.
Yeah, this was not a priority for James Wan. And you can clearly kind of see that. I don't know if it was his intention for Conjuring to take off like it did in the beginning. But it was definitely obviously a focus because he rathered to do that, for a year. So
yeah, I mean, still not too bad of a film, but it could have been better if maybe he focused all of his attention on it.
Probably, because I would imagine shortly after this, he was anxious to get into Conjuring 2. Speaking of Conjuring, Nun 2 is about to come out.
Good for it. When's it coming out?
A couple weeks, I think.
Are you telling me we're watching it?
At some point. At some point.
Because the first Nun, I think the first one creeped me out. Creeped me out a bit.
Oh, okay, good. We can rewatch that then.
Because the Nun is part of the Conjuring series. Oh yeah, you just said, speaking of the Conjuring. And then Annabelle is part of the Conjuring series too, right? Is it all a big series?
Those are, yeah.
The Conjuring series?
Yeah.
Is there an order to them?
Sort of, yeah. It's less of an order than like the MCU, but yeah.
Okay. And then Insidious is just
its own thing
with the 5 films.
Yeah, and there's rumors that Insidious is going to have a crossover with Sinister too. So
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Did you see that little Jenna Ortega?
Yep. Was that a sneak peek, I guess, to the third one? And I haven't seen the third one. I don't even know.
No,
all
that's
I know
unrelated.
is
We can say. Go ahead.
all I know is that you said that it's about Elise and Carl, or just Elise.
I think just Elise.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that was not a sneak peek for the third one.
Oh,
Unrelated.
that's it.
Yep.
We don't get to know what happened there.
Nope.
At all.
Nope. That's just letting you know that they're continuing their work. You know.
We'll continue this sneak peek. God dang.
They might as well. You know, if they're gonna go with Elise and as being the main character, you might as well just this be the next thing because it's, you know, you kind of created a cliffhanger, but I got what they were doing.
And then bring Jenna Ortega back. Come on, she's into horror now.
She's the new Scream Queen.
Yeah, so bring her back. Do something here.
Don't say that too loud.
What?
It will happen.
Oh.
We don't need her to come back to Insidious. She can continue doing her own thing. I hope the Scream thing wraps up quickly so she can do something else too. Or she can work as hard as Nick Cage does, because Nick Cage has got like 6 fucking movies coming out this year, so.
Holy fuck.
I don't think any actor works as hard as Nick Cage, just saying. He may not be in really great movies, but he is a hard-working motherfucker.
He's great. Is he in great movies? That's questionable, but he himself.
He is, yep.
He's great.
It's true.
All right.
I appreciate Nick Cage. I feel like he works with people who you wouldn't think could afford him, you know? But he takes a pay cut or something, you know? And he's, it works out. I'm like, Nick Cage, you're a godsend. I just wish you were in mostly better movies, but that's all right. I will say just one more thing on Nick Cage is his next, I can't really say his next movie, but a movie coming up, because he's got so many movies coming up, I don't know which one's coming out first.
Next?
There's a film called Dream Scenario coming out, or that might be the working title, but I think it's coming out this year, so that's probably the title. Ari Aster is producing. He's on board with, he's on board as a producer, so that's kind of interesting, and then it's being distributed by A24 as well. So, and it's being directed by kind of a, no offense, but a no-name right now, but he might become a big deal, with a Nick Cage kind of person and Ari Aster helping and stuff. This could be a pretty interesting movie coming out.
It sounds interesting.
I think it's about I think he's a teacher, like a middle school teacher or something, an English teacher. That sounds like The Whale. That's not quite right. I don't know. But yeah, man, do you have any final thoughts for me on Insidious Chapter 2?
It's funny you said teacher, just real quick, before I give you my final thoughts. Because I read another review comment. I think it was a comment on someone's review of it on YouTube that said, "How does this man keep affording nice houses on a teacher's salary?" It's just funny because you just said teacher. But
that's true. In California, if I'm not mistaken.
Really?
I think so. I think these movies took place in California. I think they had California tags. That's how I knew that. Which doesn't guarantee that they're in California, I guess, but
that's hilarious.
Yeah.
So even less. How's this dude affording this shit?
Yeah. I guess some states pay their teachers better than others, to be fair. Down here in the South, of course, we like to pay them with chewing gum and bricks.
I love chewing gum. And bricks.
You can make houses with bricks.
And gum. You can stick them together.
Exactly.
How much gum do you get?
It depends on how long you've been teaching.
Maybe you'll have a nice house like Josh here by the end of it.
And you made with your own blood, sweat, and saliva.
Literally. I like it.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Well, thank you. Did you give me your final thoughts?
No. Yeah, I wanted to bring up this quote. And it's not verbatim here. It's just what I kind of gathered from what he said. And it was an interview that somebody did with Patrick Wilson. And he said what he liked about this film, and really the series, but mainly this film, was that it didn't have any gore. And it didn't have any bad language, no violence. and he goes into it being kind of old school.
Yes. Yes, this film reminds me very much of Poltergeist. Did he mention that?
No. He also went on to say that it wasn't really throwing anything gross out at you, which is funny because the grossest thing I've seen in the series is from the Red Door, that boy throwing up. But, whatever.
That
Whatever
was
here.
10 years before.
Yeah.
He didn't know how to... He probably found himself in a situation where he didn't know how to make a film. And so he was like, what do we do here,
Yeah. And then he just talked about, how ridiculous that is, that's what horror directors are kind of going towards. But he liked how old school this was.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to get your thoughts on that.
No, I appreciate the hell out of that because I have always thought, and for some reason, Insidious fits this family-friendly bill a little more than almost anything else. And it's always reminded me of Poltergeist, and which is a Steven Spielberg-esque film. It was produced by Steven Spielberg, and I think it was, I think the film was made in his production house too.
Okay.
So it's got a lot of ties to him. I don't think it was directed by him. I'm pretty sure it wasn't. The remake's better, by the way. Hot take? I don't think so. I think it's 2015 remake. But I appreciate that. It's kind of ironic that, 10 years later, he's kind of eating his words on the gross thing. But it goes to show you that, especially in the first film, you can have really effective scares without being obscene,
Yeah.
And I think that is very cool. Old school, I'm not familiar enough, I guess, with old school horror other than the grosser stuff, like Exorcist or something, or the slashers, of course.
Exorcist has all of that. It's got violence, bad fucking language, man. That
it's
demon,
mega vulgar.
Yes, and then the grossness. That's funny.
Yeah.
Maybe he means older.
Yeah, probably. I would say
like Psycho. I don't know what Psycho is.
Maybe Psycho. Yeah.
And that.
Yeah, Psycho was maybe 64, 65. Don't quote me on that.
Yeah,
I'm not
like
sure.
in that vein.
Yeah, because it used to be. I mean, I think Psycho was the first movie to ever show a toilet on TV. So it was kind of a big, the vulgarity of things, not just in profanity and sex, but was just getting going there in the 50s and 60s. It took a long time, and then we, by the time the 70s rolled around, we had things like Rosemary's Baby, which is still pretty clean in a lot of ways, if I remember correctly. And then, but we have The Exorcist, which is extremely, extremely vulgar and awesome in its own right. At least it doesn't age completely well, of course, but hopefully the remake or whatever they're doing, the reboot, whatever they're doing right now, is going to be good.
I hope so too.
The girls look great. The two little girls.
I haven't seen anything.
That's all I've seen, and they look amazing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I like what he has to say. It kind of brings it back into like the movies that I like. I guess I'm thinking of Saw, the first Saw. How it's not, he doesn't have all these complicated, super gory stuff. No complicated puzzles or contraptions yet. It's just two guys handcuffed, and I guess one has to chop off its foot, but
it doesn't show it.
It doesn't show it. He's just screaming, and there's something genius that he's saying here.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I want my scariness.
Yeah. And I love some nice body torture, body horror, body gore. It's awesome. It really is cool. And it's kind of ironic that James Gunn. It's kind of ironic that James Wan makes these not so obscene films, and then they, at least for the Saw, it becomes the pinnacle of just what mutilating a body looks like on screen, and it's awesome. It's so outrageous that it's kind of funny and fun. We root for the guts in those scenarios, and which is cool, and it's didn't really connect the two, because I guess even Conjuring is pretty PG as well.
Yeah, it is. I think you're right there.
So it's kind of funny in that way. Yeah, I like that. That's I've never really heard anyone else say that. I've always kind of felt that way, but I've never heard that spoken by someone like Patrick Wilson. That's cool. So, any more final thoughts? You finally tapped out.
Yep, finally tapped out.
Good.
I guess it's up to you if you want to go watch this.
No,
I
you
fell
should.
asleep.
You should definitely
You
go
didn't fall
watch it.
asleep.
What do you say?
I said I fell asleep. You didn't fall asleep. So we're 50-50 here.
You should definitely go watch it if you like horror. It's just, it's a good touchstone, obviously, and it's it's a James Wan special, It's gotta keep up with James Wan. He's one of our dudes. He doesn't make your Hereditaries, but he makes your your kind of modern films where you throw popcorn at the TV kind of thing,
Out of
whatever feeling. Boo! It could be boo. It could be like, it could be scared. It could be whatever. Anything in between. But yeah, man. Well, thank you for watching this film with me.
No problem.
Would you mind telling me your budget guess for Insidious Chapter 2? James Wan's Insidious Chapter 2.
Before I tell you the number, here's my logic.
Thank you for your logic.
Insidious was 1.5 million.
That's unbelievable. Still.
The Red Door was 16 million.
Okay.
So
that's also unbelievable.
So I thought
in the other direction.
It was going to be closer to 10 million, but
okay.
I was like, no, 10 million sounds like a chapter 3 number. So I went down a little into 7 or 8 million.
7 to 8 million?
7 to 8 million.
Okay. It's 10 years old. Don't forget. And we do have James Wan, the guy. He knows how to spend money right.
So 7 million.
So 7 million? Okay, sticking with 7 million?
Yes.
All right, so
I guess it's not right.
Am I that easy to read? The budget here says it's 5 million.
Okay, not terribly off.
Yeah, not terribly off.
All right.
I think we're learning that James Wan knows how to spend money
Good job,
a
James Wan.
really incredible degree. It's pretty impressive actually that I can't believe Saw cost as little as it did. Like it was like 10, 20 million or $20,000 or whatever. I mean, it makes sense when you watch it because it takes place in like 2 spaces. But oh my God,
Still, yeah.
Yes. And then Insidious, of course.
He needs to come help me budget. That's all I gotta say.
I just want to say I want to invest in a James Wan film.
All right.
Whatever money he needs, I'm going to try to provide. You know what I mean? I want to be a producer on his films because his crew is making some money, and I think I could, supply some creative insight too.
All right.
So James Wan, hit me up at Filmestein, singular, not Steins, Filmestein@gmail.com. Thank you. Send me an email. Yeah, this movie went on to make $161 million. Over 20 times its budget.
Holy shit.
That's why Jason Blum was like, we got to get these guys back. These guys know how to make that money. Yes.
Dude, for real. Give him that email again.
That's all I'm saying. I'll take out a loan for $1 million for you.
Holy fuck.
Easy.
That's incredible. Good job. Good job.
Similar for all of them too.
All the
Insidious
films?
yeah.
Look, it's that first one that brought everybody. I mean, I want to watch the third one. Yeah. Now I have to.
Yeah, we'll get to it then. Okay. Yeah, it just kind of sucks that the fifth one, the newest one, Red Door, is now the highest grossing film of the franchise, not accounting for inflation. I think this film might be the highest grossing if you count for inflation, but it's still like mighty close. So, do you have a game for me today?
I do have a game for you today.
Let me hear that game.
It's a quick rapid fire.
Okay, I love the rapid fire games.
I know you love the rapid fires. All right, Lipstick Demon or Parker Crane Demon?
In what way?
Nope.
Being possessed?
Whatever way you are interpreting this. Boom, go.
I guess the Parker Crane. If I'm being possessed.
I went Lipstick Demon because I saw it as who scares me the most.
Okay.
Who's haunting my dreams.
Yeah, he's scarier.
He's scarier.
But if I'm gonna go Parker Crane if you're
getting
possessing me,
haunted.
because I'm not chained up for one. You know what I'm saying? In his fucking workshop.
With
you know
the Tiny Tim song.
Yeah, with the Tiny Tim playing over and over and over again. It's like, God damn it, I like Tiny Tim and all, but damn. Can we at least put the SpongeBob song on? Yeah, Parker Crane, he just let me live. He let me be myself and out and about, in the further.
That's true. All right. Chapter 2 or part 2?
I guess I like the part 2 thing better. In general, I do, yeah.
I kind of like the chapter 2. In general. I don't think I like it for this, but I have to think about it. But I'm going to go with chapter 2. Chapter 2. Ed Warren or Josh Lambert?
Ed? Yeah.
Yeah. He's better in those films.
Yeah, I just like those films better. Those are good films.
I wonder if there's, because what's her name? Rose Byrne,
Rose Bryant. I don't fucking know. Yeah,
she's good. We established this in the first Insidious, but I wonder if the other two in The Conjuring have better chemistry. I'd have to rewatch it to tell you for sure, because it's been a while since I've seen The Conjuring. But yeah, I'm going with Ed Warren here too.
Yeah, I would not be surprised because they don't do a lot together in the second Insidious, especially. So maybe it's hard. Yeah, it's hard to say though. Yeah.
All right, chronological films or like skipping around or like out of order films.
Chronological, mostly linear. Yeah, I like that.
Me too. I think that's safe to say that a lot of people do. They like the A to B.
Yeah, if you have the smart flashback or whatever in there, that's more than welcome, of course. But you can't do the Christopher Nolan thing like he does occasionally, like Dunkirk. Dunkirk's all kinds of fucked up. We need to break that movie apart and then put it back together in each of its linear kind of moves, and then kind of plug in what makes sense or intersect them where it makes sense. What were you gonna say?
Well, I was thinking more when I was thinking of this question, but how whatever comes to your mind, fair game. But on like the series, how Harry Potter is very chronological. We go from him being 11 to him being 17.
I see.
But then you have films or a series of films like this that go, I guess none of them go back.
I think the third Insidious film does.
Okay, you go back in time.
I think because you hang out with young Elise a lot.
Yeah, like that. Or, just films that kind of like, you have a sequel, then you have a prequel, then you have a...
Yeah, I'm generally not a fan of prequels and like just anyways, because you know where they land, unless it's something like the new Mufasa film with Lion King. Very curious about that.
Yes.
Because Mufasa, of course, is the only interesting character in The Lion King.
Yeah, then you have like The Lion King 1.5. Didn't that come out after Lion King 2?
I can't say. I don't really know, but that's very cool because it takes place. It's like it's still a very linear thing, but it's like the behind the scenes. I think that's very cool. Paranormal Activity 2 also kind of does that, where the bulk of the movie is a prequel to the first film, and then the last like 10 minutes is what happens right after the first film.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's kind of cool. I kind of like that, but I only like that because it's very cut and dry what's happening. It's a very simple movie, So
yeah,
which is fine. I think those movies are fairly effective. They're kind of the Blair Witch of our time, sort of.
Yeah, I don't know. The Paranormal Activity movie, the first one, didn't Didn't get me. Didn't get to me.
The first one's not very good.
Kind of boring.
Yeah, the first one's...
Okay, so the other ones are
second
better?
one's much better, I think. I think the second one's infinitely better than the first one.
Well, I didn't watch the next ones because I was like, well, this is crap. What are the other ones?
Yeah.
Just typically, the sequel is worse. So I wasn't going to put myself through that.
Yeah, no, I hear that. Yeah, I like the second one much better. The first one's so... I'm a little surprised you say that, actually, because it's very found footage-y. So you're kind of a sucker for that. But it's also very static found footage.
Yes.
So it's like...
Yes.
Sort of found footage, but not. So I get that.
All right. Red door or blue door?
Is this like a blue pill, red pill thing?
What are you picking? Red door or blue door?
We're going down the red door.
I'm picking red door too. I just picked colors. I just thought red door, then I thought of kind of the opposite of red. Not really opposite of red. Blue.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah, it depends on the context, right?
Yeah. That's it. Nothing more than colors there. Which is funny. I thought you would think that.
Tricked me.
I tricked you.
I think I want the red pill. To be honest, I don't even know the difference between the pills. I think I'm taking the black pill though. That's kind of the...
There's a black pill?
Oh yeah, there's your red pill, black pill, blue pill, white pill, and I want to say your gold pill. So I think those are your pills, and the black pill is like your cynic's pill. So it's... I feel like I'm just inherently involved in that. I don't really have a choice. I feel like I think your gold pill is I don't know. I keep this fucking shit straight.
That's funny.
That's why I'm black pilling. You know,
All right, well, I'm going red door.
All right, cool. Me too. I'll be there with you.
All right, last question. Blood gore or carnage gore?
What do you mean carnage?
Skin, arms. You know, not necessarily everything bleeding everywhere, but...
Carnage, yeah. Like, more mutilated, less slasher.
Yes.
Or, yeah. Yeah, if there's going to be something graphic like that, I prefer the cheese grating of the leg, or the degloving of a hand, or the scalping of a head. You know, I prefer scooping an eyeball out. Or
the horse walking on the minefield.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Blowing up. That was rough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I would go carnage too, but that blood scene from
Evil Dead Rise.
But that was cool.
Yeah, but that
was a lot of blood in that movie, and that was pretty awesome.
But, yes.
But I'm assuming mostly what you were about to say.
Yeah.
It's just this film. What other film does it better?
Yeah, but also there's a lot of carnage and mutilation happen in that film too. Though.
Also true.
And I guess they're just kind of yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for playing my game.
Oh, thank you for having a game and playing with me.
You're welcome.
That was fun. Thank you guys for listening to this episode of the Filmistines. We had a great time talking about Insidious Chapter 2, James Wan's ugly stepchild film, sort of. I like it. I'm a fan.
Not a fan. Okay fan.
Yeah, that's all right. You can join us every Monday, Wednesday, Friday for new episodes of the Filmistines. And join us soon over on Patreon for Patreon exclusive content. Until next time, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And that's a wrap for today's episode of the Filmistines. Thanks for tuning in and joining us on our cinematic journey. We hope you enjoyed our discussion, gained some new insights and perspectives on the world of movies. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform, especially Patreon at patreon.com/Filmistines. And follow us on social media for more film-related content. We love hearing from our listeners. So if you have any feedback, suggestions, movie recommendations, or book recommendations, please feel free to reach out to us. Until next time, keep watching and keep loving the magic of movies. This is the Filmistines signing off.